everyone, welcome to a new episode. Today I want to talk about a couple different concepts that are pretty core to Bitcoin and why it was created, that not a lot of people are talking about, that can have a huge impact on how economies can work if they adopted a deflationary model like Bitcoin. So today's episode is about inflation and deflation. Each have their own different aspects, different pros and cons, and different motivations for why an economy is designed to be inflationary or deflationary. So first, let's go over inflation, which is the economy that we are all in right now. If you ever went to the movies, if you were alive in like 1950s, 1960s, you might have paid like 25 cents to go to the movies. And if you were to go to the movies today, probably would it cost you about 30 bucks. And I haven't been to the movies lately. That's pretty much why. So that's a perfect example of inflation. It's not so much that things have gotten more expensive, maybe a little bit, but more importantly, it's because the money supply has grown and that has weakened the value of the dollar or the euro or any kind of a national fiat currency that you are dealing with. The concept of inflation, it is good for as a medium of exchange for that monetary instrument. If you think of hyperinflation, like in Venezuela, the bolivars, if you get one of those bolivars in your hands, you bet you want to spend that sucker as fast as you can. You don't want to be holding on to it. Inflation does not help to be a store of value. So that's kind of another argument that we're seeing with Bitcoin. I will get into that in a bit. But so just know the basics here. I want to get a lot more into depth here, and I will in a future video, but for the sake of, some pretty views and to have kind of a friendly conversation, I just want to introduce this concept for those who might be more interested in learning more. So inflation, really good for a medium of exchange, really good for, providing liquidity in an economy. Of course, governments love it. Get more money out there, they can tax crap out of it and they can get paid more. So that's why a lot of also traditional economists, they speak kind of badly of deflation. I've read some things too, it might have something to do with the Great Depression, because when there was a run on the banks, suddenly the supply was gone. It was a deflationary economy at that moment, and that did not go so well for the economy in that instance. But so there's concepts for inflation that are good. For example, for competition with imports and exports, and with global trade, inflation could be good. Kind of this whole currency competition. Now we're in this like competition of inflation. People are inflating their currencies. Kind of, it's like a race to the bottom kind of thing. But again, I'm getting into some really deep concepts. So if you want to learn more about inflation and its impact on economies, I suggest checking out Friedrich Hayek, Milton Friedman, and Murray Rothbard. That's a pretty good solid start there. All right, now let's get into why Satoshi Nakamoto chose to create Bitcoin in the model of a deflationary coin. Now, as the name you might have guessed, it is the opposite of inflation, and this means that the supply of Bitcoin over time diminishes. We are seeing this with the way that it is mined. Every 4 years, you may be familiar with the great halvening that happens. What happens there is that as miners create blocks for the blockchain, they are rewarded with Bitcoin. Every 4 years, that reward is cut in half. This will continue until the 21 millionth Bitcoin is mined. After that, no more Bitcoins can be created, so this is exactly why Bitcoin is deflationary. This is also what makes Bitcoin a very good store of value. It makes it as a good long-term investment choice, not so much as a medium of exchange, because as we're kind of seeing, no one so much, well, maybe now because we're in a bear market and everything's, Bitcoin's gonna die, but for those of you who are in the know, the long-term goals of Bitcoin is going up. And so who would really want to spend their Bitcoin when you know that down the line it's going to be worth more? So that's why it's a good store of value, not so much as a medium of exchange. So let's explore this concept. Cryptocurrencies are epic in the way that you can go send them across borders, have control of your own currency. You don't need to trust a third party to verify the transactions. It's all decentralized and beautiful. But the thing that we are seeing now with different cryptocurrencies, not every cryptocurrency is deflationary like Bitcoin. Some cryptocurrencies are proof of stake. Even I don't believe some proof of stake coins do have a cap supply, I believe. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments so I can learn more. It's an important concept, this whole inflation, deflation, because as you are analyzing cryptocurrencies, it plays a part in the general goal of that coin. Does it want to be inflationary? Does it want to be used as a medium of exchange? Does it want to be deflationary? Will that coin ultimately increase in value over time, ideally, if it is a deflationary coin? This is yet again another topic I'm going to go much more deeper into when you're analyzing different cryptocurrencies and their ultimate goals and how to make a decision. So just so you know, maybe if you're investing in an inflationary coin and you think that you're going to hold it as a store of value, might not be the best strategy for that particular coin. There's just a little nugget of information for you there. So another great source of information to kind of help you wrap your head around this whole big picture of inflation, the history of money and how we're coming through the gold standard to the Bitcoin standard. That is a really good audiobook I highly suggest everyone check out so you can be more educated on this whole economics of Bitcoin and the history of it and why it's so revolutionary. So again, today was kind of a basic video, introductory video to this concept of inflation versus deflation. If you'd like to learn more, I have plenty of links listed down below so you guys can get into all that reading and video and book information, and also look out for more videos on this topic that I will be posting in the future. So that's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed this, if you learned something, leave a like, leave a comment down below, and if you haven't already, hit subscribe to get your daily fix of all things crypto.